Well, well, well. Hello. There we go. Man, do I feel stupid. Anyway, so here is me going live, trying StreamYard out instead, as we can see with their little logo up here. My God. So it turns out, and I did. I didn't think I had to check whether or not there was friggin' audio from another screen when it asks when you set it up. I thought that was a given. So apparently that didn't happen. I am not going to do a million recordings without figuring out if it works here. I obviously asked the support side at Riverside FM what went wrong. I hope they get back to me, but obviously I both feel stupid. And then when you have the things going on that has made me procrastinate so long to get back into it and attempt to create this podcast, mostly for myself, mostly because I feel like nobody is saying the things that I'm saying. And anyway, um, I'm not going to re-record everything, so I want to try out some things here with StreamYard and see if that works right away. So here, let's quickly go to Ungar Sargon, who Crystal Ball did a from Breaking Bad from Breaking Points did an amazing takedown of the other day. But here she's at it again, showing her brilliance and why you just like seriously again, as I've been saying forever, the things Trump are want to do or claims that he wants to do on certain days and certain minutes and certain hours are not wrong, right? It is just always how he goes about it. Anyway, here we are. Sargon again, showing her brilliance and why we just can't listen to these people.
I don't think he's going to comment.
Do you know what would have really helped? What would be a really good idea right now to help bring down inflation and make sure that things keep running smoothly? It's dropping interest rates. Why doesn't he do that?
Oh, I mean, how, how bad? I mean, I know everybody in America smokes a lot of weed, but how bad does she think our short-term memory is? We know because that's how it is. This is the fact that interest rates were going up to lower inflation because the belief was that there was too much money in the system, therefore you raise the interest rates. Right? Now, I have seen this clip before. I'm not watching it with you. Now, I think she kind of gets that she says something stupid because I think she turns it around. But what do you think here? What do you think is going on?
Why doesn't he look at
So interest rates, if you were to drop interest rates, you would stoke inflation.
Thank you.
You would give the business community a little bit of support to get them through what is going to be a difficult time as we reorganize the economy in order to restore dignity to the
You know what
working
else would
class.
help? If you didn't wildly put tariffs in place that don't make any sense. That
See, so then she turns it around, right? Because then she says that she didn't want to lower interest rates to deal with inflation. Now suddenly she wanted to deal with interest rates to help businesses, but businesses are not going to hire because the salary they have to pay for somebody to have. I mean, these people are just not there, right? And she is a pied piper. She is by no means, any means, in any way, shape, or form, the uh, the let's see what I got here. Oh yeah, did you see this? What was wrong with America? Did you see this? Look at this. This is, I believe, the shooting in Florida we just had, right? Look at this. Look at this. What's wrong with us? What the fuck is wrong with us? He sees somebody laying on the ground, clearly bleeding, and he just sips his coffee, films it, and keeps walking. What is wrong with us? What has happened to us? What's going on in this country? What's going on in this country? All right. What else did I save here for comment on a podcast? Let's see. There we go. Oh, so yeah, I of course did a whole little segment there on the Joe Rogan, Dave Smith, and Douglas Murray podcast, and of course without the sound, so it all freaking just didn't. Anyway, I thought it was pretty good. I thought I had some decent insight to some of the things that were just plainly wrong and what was going on, and where Joe Rogan kind of either deliberately or whatever missed the point. So here, what happens is, of course, then Dave Smith has gone on he's, let's be kind here. He's been out there explaining his side and how Douglas Murray missed everything. I don't think Douglas Murray has been out and doing the same amount of podcasts. He certainly hasn't tweeted about it, but he has been out and doing a couple of podcasts afterwards to explain what his purpose was. Anyway, so here's Joe Rogan, who was the host and who's the friend, right? The friend of, and he's here with Tim Dillon. And yes, they're comedians, and yes, they make fun of each other. And I don't think that Douglas is going to be mad that Joe Rogan makes fun of his British and what Americans consider a snobby accent, right? But anyway,
there's peace in the Middle East. Hopefully, they keep talking about all this, these deals they're all making. Hopefully that the Hamas and the Israel, whatever it is, they get, because.
Well, that's one thing that Trump said.
If I get in there, 24 hours, the war's over. That's a tough one. 24 is tough.
That's obviously.
But hopefully they figure it out, because it is, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
The human toll is unreal.
Unreal.
And, it's crazy.
Some lady just died. She was the protagonist in some documentary, and she just got blown up.
There is an argument to be made that level of devastation and death is worse than you talking to someone on your podcast.
Allegedly.
There is an argument to be made. It's probably not a good one.
The amount
but there is an argument
with just talking.
There is an argument to be made that, starvation and stuff like that and people dying is worse than a podcast.
But wait a minute.
I wouldn't
wait
make
a minute
it.
Before you say that. Have you been there?
When were you last there at all?
I've never been.
You've never been?
Well, am I not allowed to talk about it now?
Right, that's a good point.
You haven't been?
By the way, how is he in all these wars? Can I just go to wars? By the way, are you allowed to just go to wars? Is that the way
you should at least
can you just
have the
go to
courtesy of going there.
Can I just go to wars, or do I have to come back and say what people want me to say about the wars?
Now that's a great point that he's making there, right? That is a great point, and that is, not an unfair critique of Douglas Murray. Is, yeah, you've been there, but you've only been to one side. But as I also said, that even in propaganda, if you care to see, you see something, right? And again, if I go to a crossing, here's the example, right? So I 100% bought into that everything was a massive that Gaza was a concentration camp. I had this vision of just abject poverty everywhere, right? And then after it happens, there was this account that sent out some TikToks from inside Gaza as Gaza before or whatever. And obviously, it's an Israeli propaganda or person is pro-Israel or whatever. But the videos were not a lie, and there was a different life. Now, that doesn't take away from Israel controlling the air and the sea and the borders and all that. I'm just saying they weren't living in abject poverty. There were rich people, there were poor people, and there was corruption everywhere, right? Not that anybody in America can say anything, have a leg to stand on when it comes to corruption, because no country in the world has legalized corruption as they have screened corruption and pointed finger at everybody else like the United States of America. So let's be clear about that, right? I'm not saying that. But also, there's a little bit of in Joe Rogan there, right? It's not just pure comedy. Now, Dylan is making a good point. He is making a good point, right? But he's also making a straw man. But I think he's doing a straw man to be funny. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt about that, right? Because the argument is, of course, not that Joe Rogan can't talk to whoever he wants. Of course he can. The argument is that if you're going to have somebody on that is not an expert and is not a historian, but is viewed as such, and perception is more important than reality, right? If everybody perceives Daryl Cooper as an historian, then he's a freaking historian. Like that's just not an argument anymore, right? So you have somebody on that makes radical new claims to what is believed about history, what is known about history, what we've been taught about history, what the so-called scholars of history have written about it and are saying about it. Now, if you come out and do that, you should be able to defend that work against the best, right? That's the whole argument against DEI, right? You're not supposed to be less qualified and then have the same impact, same job, the same money as somebody more qualified than you. And if you're stepping up with something that's radically different, then you have to have radically better proof for it. That's the argument. The argument is that Joe Rogan is now too big to just say, I'm just a comedian. This is just a podcast. He moves culture. When he fucking talks about a supplement, that supplement moves. If he talks about a coffee, that coffee moves. If he talks about a song, that song moves. If he talks about a movie, that movie moves. If he has a brand new person on his podcast, that person moves. It's not just a podcast anymore. It's something more than that. It's something a lot more than that.
Can I go to the wars and have my own opinions, or do I have to have the opinions?
Not if you want to go back.
That's right. That's right. It's very interesting, this war tourism. How do I get on this war tourism?
Yeah.
I'd like to go to the Ukraine. I
You
want to
should
go.
go.
I want to go. I
You
want to
should
go to all this war tourism.
Do you have any awards that they can melt down and make bullets out of?
Joe, think about this. Do I seem like a guy that has a lot of awards?
Didn't you get one of those YouTube plaques when you hit 100,000?
I don't even know where they send it. I don't know where they're sending those YouTube plaques.
We've got a few of those.
But I like this idea
We'll
of
give you
war
one of ours.
tourism.
You can
I like
send
the idea of going to a war and then
that felt a little different Rogan, right? That he had to pull up that we have a few of those. I mean, yeah, dude, God bless you. Fucking built an empire. Like you've made, maybe not now, but when everything is said and done, you probably made more millionaires than anybody else in the world ever, right? So let's, critique all we want, right? We can all critique, but here I am sitting here talking about him. He's not talking about me, right? So let's be clear,
then
right?
coming back having a very black and white view.
Yes, I've been there.
I get it, and I know, and interesting. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I
Well,
love
it's-
that.
You feel better than the other people.
Well, of
because you
course,
say you've
there's a
been
lot of people. It gets very murky. Most people I know that have been to war have a very murky, complex view of things. But it is good to go to a war and then come back and be as sure as you were before you came.
And you don't have to go for very long.
No, you go for an hour.
Couple hours.
It's a lunch.
Yeah.
It's lunch on
Put
the
on
front
a
line.
flak jacket that says press.
Tea on the front lines, and then you.
Wow. Like that's, I don't know. I don't know. That's, I mean, he must have hit a nerve or something. This is very not Rogan like. It's not, they're very not Rogan like. This feels thin skinned. This doesn't feel Rogan like at all.
You come back and you have all the talk. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're on the right side, you probably
Right.
don't get shot.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, there doesn't seem to be a ton of danger for a lot of these people going to these wars. They seem fine.
If you cross that line
Yeah.
and you have a bucket of food with you,
Yeah.
they might light you up.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go. I'll go to any war and I'll anything you want. So if you want to pay for me to go to a war, I will come back and I go, I saw the Houthis, they're terrifying. They are terrifying. Any war you want. And by the way, any country, if China wants me to, I'm doing it. I'm
you go to
doing it.
Moscow?
I would love to go to Moscow. And I said to my friend, Anna Hoshkin from the Red Scare podcast, I said, should I go to Russia? She goes, you're spiritually Russian, and the maybe you won't leave. She says the oligarch lifestyle might be for you.
I can see
Oh, I believe that.
Smoked fish.
Oh, I believe that 100%. I believe that. He would love that lifestyle.
She goes, it might. Smoking a cigarette on a yacht. She goes, it might be for you. Listening to people's moral justifications for all kinds of things. Going, well,
I see the point. I get it.
yeah,
I mean, what else are you going to do?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What happened to those,
Yeah.
all those yachts that got confiscated?
I don't know. It's
Who
a great
gets
question.
those?
I bet it's some high level version of like a police auto auction, right?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm thinking. Exactly. Like if
Maybe
the cops,
those are the ones you sail to the war. I don't know.
yeah. When
There's people.
I don't know. Some of that was very, very un-Rogan-esque. It didn't feel like he was making fun in a friendly way, but it felt a little thin-skinned even from him. We already dealt with that. All right, so there's the other one that I did a video on too about our president going absolutely freaking crazy, and yeah, what's going on here? What is going on here?
Pay for those facilities to be opened if new ones were going to be built.
I'd do something, we'd help them out. They're great facilities, very strong facilities, and they don't play games. I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam, I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
I mean, if you don't, the fact that we can't unite around an outrage over any president saying that he wants to deport and ship fellow Americans to another country to serve their sentence. The fact that we can't unite around that, all of us, MAGA, the blue-haired, the in between, the libertarians, everybody, that we can unite in absolute outrage around that. That to me was just unbelievably crazy. Unbelievably crazy. Anyway, what else do we got here? Oh, there was more to the whole dust up and whatever. I might do some separate videos on that because, whatever. All right, I did 20 minutes here with this. I want to see what happens and what didn't happen, and if there was sound on both sides with this, and if not, who the heck knows? Anyway, if you stumble into this and you watched it, well, thank you. Please do come back, and I will eventually figure all this technology stuff out. All right. How do I end it with this one? Leave studio. Is that the one? Leave studio. Leave studio. Bye bye. Leave.